All right, Ian. Thanks for joining us today at Artist Chat. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
All right.
For me too.
Cool. Let's start maybe just in a classic way. Let's tell us a bit about yourself and your path to become the artist you are today.
Okay. So I was like a small kid. I was always drawing. So my father sent application to the university. So to the high school. So I was on art high school, and actually I think in second grade I really like enjoying the painting. So I started to focus on it, and from that moment I think I started to paint, and there was a long way. But after that I just want to go to the Academy of Art, and so I get there, and I was in a painting studio of Michael Richstein, where I spent like 6 years. And I also was visited Indonesia for my Erasmus, and also I was on education stay in Tissot. So it was a great time.
Cool. Maybe just, of course you have a very specific style. How did your style evolve over time? Did you start painting like that, or you were painting in a different way at the beginning? What influenced you to basically become the artist you are today, or the art you create today?
Yeah, actually I think I was starting like a painter who was watching, so I always like to paint more realistically. And I always used some models, so I paint my family, I paint my friends, and also I use some photos. But after I think after academy, I just changed my idea, and I want to focus in more looking for my own way, and I stopped using photography, stopped using the models, and I always just make a drawing sketch and start to paint from my imagination. So I was start looking for my own like a specific way how to paint. So I started looking for a new technique also. And I think there was also a big influence for me if I visited Indonesia, because the culture I spent was so impressive, and I spent there like two semesters. It's a night month, and it was a lot of time, and I started to paint more colorful. I came back, and my painting really changed, and I started to use really strong colors. And with this inspiration, I still work until now.
Cool. It's very interesting. I think you touched on a couple of points I want to cover now. One of them is inspiration. Maybe just more. We can talk about one specific painting. Could be this one here, or one that you want to talk about. And also about the process. Let's start maybe with the inspiration, and then we cover the process. So how does one of your works start? For instance, where does it really start?
Yeah, I think the inspiration always comes from the surrounding. For me, it's a really big influence. If I paint in Indonesia, it looks different than if I was in Valencia or in Miami. Always the space, the place I live, make some. It's changed my style a little bit. The vibing, the color vibing, or other things. And so I am inspired by people. I speak about the things I'm thinking about. So also with my relationship. So there's a lot of influence. And if I should think about it, I think there is like two from the last 3 years. There is two biggest topic for me, and one is about my body, and it's a desire. So there is a lot of erotic painting. I think same like Egon Schiele or some other artist. And the second is the psychological portrait, and something subliminal communication between each person, what is on the canvas. And there is a lot of like couples, because it's inspired by my relationship. So I am using specific techniques for to made my painting. I'm always starting with the paintbrush, but after that I'm also using some tapes or airbrush or spray, so there is more layer, and the painting it's a longer process than before.
Maybe talk about one or two of your paintings, right? And you're going to show it, so you can just, it could be this one, or you can select it, and you can tell one of your paintings you recently work on, and you can maybe tell us a bit about the process, the inspiration about this specific painting. Would be very interesting to hear.
I think this painting, this is my last painting, so there is a lot of perplex, like there is a lot of like a mess. If you like scrolling the Instagram or something, you have after 10 minutes maybe there is a lot of information. So I try to paint like some kind of perplex. There is a lot of moving, like maybe a little bit like an action movie, but it's stuck in the moment. So it's a painting quite different than the others. There is a lot of information, and I also like using combination. There's the combination of the abstract and some figurative parts. I also use the shadow in the background, so the front layers go more in the front.
When you start preparing this, do you start with sketches? You paint directly on canvas?
Yeah, I like to have some sketch in the beginning, but I also like to be surprised by the painting. So mostly I have some, it's suddenly what happened in the moment. I can work with it, with the situation. So it's also, I don't want to make the same painting. I like to be surprised. So there is a lot of, the process of painting, it's really important. It's not just that I have some idea and I want to paint it. I think the painting and to describe the painting, it's more interesting if I sometimes don't know. Because of course your paintings are very colorful. You have, before starting, you have an idea about the type of tones and color hues you want to use, or you are also changing while you paint? Or? Yeah, actually in this paint I just said to myself I want to have just pink and green and blue, and there is the gray, but there is no yellow, there is no so I am trying to sometimes I think sometimes I'm trying to just use 2-3 colors.
Have you ever tried to do a painting which is similar by using a different color palette? It never happens. A color palette belongs only to one painting. You know, you could do this painting again, but try different color combination. Have you ever done something like that? Or?
Actually, I think every situation or every color I work, it's also about the situation is unique.
So I understand, you don't want to...
I'm thinking in the moment. It's not like I will say, I will have the brown, I will have the blue, and I will paint it. Sometimes I feel I should put another color, or maybe there's too much color. So actually I feel close to one artist. He was, if I came from Indonesia, I was on education stay at studio Jiří Sobko. And Sobko told me it looks a little bit like Howard Hodgkin, and I didn't know this artist. But I check it and I realized that I am quite close to this one. And he say that his painting, it's not just about mixing the beauty color, but it's also about some express. And the color could be they're unpleasure, you know, but it's more about the motion, and for me it's always about the motion. So I feel close to this thinking about the color.
Why don't you talk us a bit more about another painting that's more on the erotic or body side?
Okay, I think the painting which is there, it's a more like erotic one. And also, if you see this painting, you know, I think it's a combination. Sometimes there is the psychology portrait, but also the many nudes. And I also start with like if I was in Miami, get a new inspiration, and I have been working on it until now. And I saw a lot of drag queens and this kind of things, and the question of the genders. So I started to paint like a figure where is both sexes and both genders, and it's I think some kind of new topic. It could be also in my painting to be seen. I think it could be hard topic for someone. There is always a lot of discuss. If I'm in a pub, so people like talk about it, and there is always like a different opinion. But I think I heard one interview with David Bowie, and he said like if the painting if the artist have a solid ground and his work on the solid ground, it's not good. So I feel like if I'm starting with a new topic and I don't know really what it could came with it, it could be interesting for me. So I like the topic which is like sometimes controversial, problematic. Also like with the nudes, you know, the people doesn't like to see sometimes the erotic paintings and this kind. Actually, the erotic paintings comes from the body. Like if you are impressionist, you paint the painting because you see the sunset and it's beautiful, so you want to paint it. If you are expressionist, you have some nightmare, and after that you want to paint it the next day. And also the body talks, like the desire, and it's also the reason why the artist should paint. And so it's also for me quite a big part, like inspired by the relationship, right, the desire. So there's a lot of paintings about some erotic.
This is a difficult question. If you can summarize in a sentence or in a paragraph, I know it's probably difficult to do, but to summarize what you want to convey through your art. If somebody comes and see, what would you like to convey to them or transmit?
It's hard for me. Maybe I'm quite young to say, but I think I'm looking for a unique way in the painting. So maybe some kind of freedom you can feel from the art. Yeah. I think it could be something like that.
Okay.
Or be open-minded in somehow. Yeah. That's what I'm trying. Always not stay on one place, but trying to move on.
So thanks a lot for being with us here at Artist Chat.
Thank you very much.